Gonna do a shelf tour, are we? We're gonna do a little shelf tour. Yeah? What's your favourite shelf? Yeah, let's do a little shelf tour. Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel Book Time with Elvis with me, Mark, and also Elvis. And we're gonna carry on with our shelf tour. This is the one we're gonna be looking at. So I guess we can get started, can we? Should we get started? Okay, let's take the first one. Our first book out of this shelf, and we have The Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo, or Notre Dame de Paris is another title, of course, you come across. This is a Canterbury Classics or Word Cloud Classics. I think it's got really nice cover. It's kind of like a faux suede, I suppose, with an imprint of Notre Dame Cathedral pressed onto it, and within that, if you can see it, are also words that are associated with the novel. So it's very nice, and it's a good, solidly made. And the translation of this one, I think, is Isabel Hapgood. So it's an older translation, but still, it's a lovely book. The other two are also from the same series. One is the Word Cloud Classics Treasure Island. It's kind of like a faux leather. It's very flexible. Again, it has the words and things associated with it on the front cover, pressed into the fake leather there. And the last one of this type that I've got is Tarzan of the Apes and the Return of Tarzan. Again, same as the Treasure Island one in terms of feel. And it's just, it's very nice, flexible, good paper. Nice print if you can see it there. And they're just very nice books. And I'm quite a fan. I would like to get some more of them. The thing is, you don't really get any academic notes or anything like that. So they are kind of just the public domain versions, I think, put into nice editions, which is fine. Although I think with some translated works, I haven't read this one yet, it might be more prudent perhaps, at least for the first time around, to read something like a Penguin Classic or a Oxford World Classics version, maybe. That's just my opinion. So we have, next up, we have a landmark book. You've probably seen them on other people's channels. It's a nice series of ancient history books. You can get like the landmark Herodotus, landmark Xenophon, etc. This is the landmark Thucydides, and it's just a very nice book that's filled with a lot of detailed maps that show pretty much everything that goes on. In this case, with the Peloponnesian War, there's lots of annotations, footnotes, side notes, appendices, essays, that kind of stuff. So it is a very nice book. It would be very nice to have the whole collection, but they are not that cheap, especially when you have to order them from abroad. But they are very good, very nice indeed. So next up, we have a very nice book indeed, which is John Suchet's biography of Mozart, The Man Revealed. It's part of a series of books that he's written for Classic FM, and it's a wonderful biography of a wonderful and amazing composer. It's very nicely done. You can see there's like quotations and things on the side. There are, again, pictures and portraits and things like that. It's quite a few of them, and it's just very interesting. He tells about the life of Mozart, of course. He quotes a lot from Mozart's letters, and I just found it all very interesting and very enjoyable. And again, I would like to kind of collect the series, but I have another copy, not copy of this rather. I have another book in the series, but it's the paperback version, which is Beethoven. But still, I mean, it's still very good. But yeah, I just like these bigger ones, and perhaps someday I'll be able to track the others down. Okay, next up we have a book here called Imagined Corners, Exploring the World's First Atlas. So this is a book all about the first atlas of the world. And if you can see on the cover there's a glare, but rather beautifully gold inlaid ships and things like that. It's a very nice book. Yeah, so what does it say on the inside there? The Theatrum Orbis Terrarum was a watershed publication. It changed the lives and altered perceptions forever. Published in Antwerp in 1570, it did something no previous book had done. Here was the world in all its component parts, the chance to see our planet as a place of staggering variety, ultimate unity. It was the world's first ever atlas, brainchild of Abraham Ortelius. The Theatrum reflected the great vitality of the era, the prevailing zest for exploration and discovery, and the linked activities of international commerce and map-making. In his native city of Antwerp, then the world's liveliest port, Ortelius was member of a circle of extraordinary men, including the age's most eminent printer, Christophe Plantin, and greatest geographer, Gérard Mercator. His warm, compelling personality meant that his momentous work was born of friendship and collaboration at a time when the Low Countries were struggling under the brutal yoke of Habsburg Spain. Paul Binding has immersed himself in the Antwerp that produced Ortelius and his atlas, and has drawn on a mass of letters, personal documents, maps, and pictures in order to bring it vividly to life. He views Ortelius's life work against the stormy backdrop and often violent events of the period, and relates his achievement to contemporaneous thinkers and artists. Imagined Corners stands as a tribute to the human need to impose order and reason on an all too turbulent world. So there you go. I guess it's part of the first atlas there on the inside of the cover. And again, there are other maps and pictures and things throughout the book. It's a very nice book, I think. Yeah, there you go. You can have a look. There's lovely maps in there. So yeah, wonderful. That's that one. And the next group of books are all from the same author. So I can go through them, and they're wonderful. I would really recommend you. I'd recommend you getting any of these, of course. But let's just start off with this one here. It's called The Golden Atlas, and it's by Edward Brooke Hitching. These are the greatest episodes from the history of exploration brought to life with the finest collection of antique cartography ever assembled, from ancient Egyptian adventurers, Islamic explorers, and monstrous medieval Chinese fleets to gold-crazed treasure hunters ransacking the New World and doomed polar voyages swallowed up by Arctic ice. These are the extraordinary stories of how the world came to be known. Who was the first woman to circumnavigate the world? What is the impossible black tulip? Which famous explorer tried to reach the North Pole by reindeer? Brimming with surprising facts, this fascinating compendium draws on the latest research to weave together the exploits of history's great discoverers with a wealth of rare and previously unpublished maps, paintings, and original photographs sourced from private collections, dealers, and archives all over the world. For those seeking an escape from a globe long since revealed, the Golden Atlas transports you back to a time of darkness and peril, showing how the lines of the modern world came to be drawn and how lives were laid down so that the shadows could be cleared and the detail filled in. Again, wonderful map there on the inside page, and it's just packed chock-a-block full of illustrations and notes and maps and all kinds of things as well. And each chapter is relating to a specific experience. So, for example, we have, look at that, it's a beautiful introduction page there, isn't it? So we have, where are the contents? I must have passed them. Yeah, we have things like exploration and mapping of the ancient world, Islamic geographers and the search for knowledge, Vasco da Gama reaches India. I'm just skipping over some here. Sir Walter Raleigh searches for El Dorado, The Educated Pirate, The Adventures of William Dampier, Bougainville's Scientific Circumnavigation of the Globe, Ernest Shackleton's Antarctic Expedition in the Endurance. So all sorts of things documented in here. I suppose that's part of the maybe Shackleton thing there, is it? No? Oh no, it's the Perry expedition. So there you go. So it's wonderful, beautiful book, and part of a beautiful collection. Next up, by the same author, is another lovely book, Sky Atlas. And what is it, you might be asking? Well, Sky Atlas, this richly illustrated treasury showcases the finest examples of celestial cartography, a glorious genre of map making often overlooked by modern map books, as well as medieval manuscripts, masterpiece paintings, ancient style catalogues, antique instruments, and other appealing curiosities. This is the sky as it has never been presented before, the realm of stars and planets, but also of gods, devils, weather wizards, flying sailors, ancient aliens, mythological animals, and rampaging spirits. Here are the crystal cosmos of the ancient Greeks, the medieval seas sailed by ships above the clouds, Tibetan sky burials, secret messages hidden in starlight, and much more. With thrilling stories and gorgeous artwork, this remarkable atlas explores our fascination with the sky across time and cultures to form an extraordinary chronicle of cosmic imagination and discovery. And it is a really stunning cover, and again on the inside some beautiful illustrations, and all throughout the book as well there are many wonderful illustrations. Look at that, kind of a flying ship, I suppose. Oh yeah, look at these, isn't that wonderful? Yeah, these really are very nice books. I don't know what the chapter headings are like in here. Oh, wow, look at that. It's a lovely, lovely start there. So we've got, it's split up into different sections. You have the ancient sky, where it looks at, for example, the ancient Babylonians. You have the ancient Greeks, the Ptolemaic cosmos, medieval sky, looking at Islamic celestial works, celestial phenomena, scientific sky, the Copernican revolution, Tycho Brahe, etc., Galileo, the modern sky, John Herschel, and all sorts. Yeah, organizing the stars, Pickering's women, new visions of the universe, Einstein, Lemaitre, and Hubble. So there you go. Good stuff. Next up, also by Edward Brooke Hitching. It's a theme going on. As I said, I think I have all of his books at the moment, at least of this series. We have The Phantom Atlas. The greatest myths, lies, and blunders on maps. So, this is the world, not as it ever existed, but as it was thought to be, a world where California is an island, paradise drifting free from North America, where monstrous creatures terrorize the Nordic waters, and lost cities of gold shimmer in the depths of jungles and oceans. From invisible mountain ranges to vast spectral seas, this unique atlas presents the greatest cartographic phantoms ever to haunt the maps of history, and uncovers the fascinating stories behind their invention. The weirdest fictions once depicted as truth on maps, ghost islands, mythical races, ship-snatching beasts, and are here meticulously assembled, culled from the entire history of cartography. These are the most bizarre tales from the chronicles of exploration, compelling narratives of murderous polar explorers, deranged buccaneers, seafaring monks, and a whole host of other curious characters. This brilliant collection leads the reader on to an enthralling journey through our ancestors' fears, fantasies, and misconceptions of the world, revealing how these illusions and confusions came to be, and why they were drawn as fact on maps for so long, in many cases for centuries, and their surprising influence on modern geography. So again, lovely inset there, a bit weird. And yeah, also throughout filled with lovely illustrations and examples and maps as well. So yeah, they really are a joy to have. I mean, there's one here called The Mountains of Kong. So this could be interesting. I haven't read all of these. They're the type of books you kind of dip in and out. I mean, you could read them all, of course, from start to finish, but it's just kind of fun to, dip in and out of them. So let's see what's in the contents of this one, if I can ever get to it. So yeah, we have, they've all got names, of course, because they don't exist. So we have things like the Kingdom of Prester John, the Aurora Islands, the Great River of the West, High Brazil, the Lost City of the Kalahari, the Mountains of Kong, Maria Theresa Reef, of course the Mountains of the Moon, which we know from Nile exploration. So yeah, wonderful. It's a word I'm using a lot, I think, during the course of this. So next up we have another one, and this one actually has a companion edition as well, and it's cool. It's The Madman's Library by Edward Brooke Hitching. The strangest books, manuscripts, and other literary curiosities from history. This is a madman's library of eccentric and extraordinary volumes, many of which are now completely forgotten, from the Quran, written in the blood of Saddam Hussein, through the gorgeously decorated 15th century lawsuit filed by the devil against Jesus, to the lost art of binding books with human skin. These obscure volumes are gathered from around the world to form the most curious library ever assembled. Books written in blood and books that kill, books of the insane and books that hoaxed the globe, books invisible to the naked eye and books so long they could destroy the universe, books worn into battle and books of code and cipher whose secrets remain undiscovered, spell books, alchemist scrolls, wearable books, edible books, books to summon demons, books written by ghosts, and a few others that are even weirder, featuring hundreds of remarkable images and an endless amount of entertaining facts and stories to discover. The Madman's Library is a captivating and beautifully illustrated compendium, perfect for every book lover. And yes, once again, wonderful illustrations. Like I said, book there written on a jacket. Books that aren't books. So look at that. Fantastic. Wonderful. And yeah, it mentioned, I suppose, at the start there, some of the types of things we've got in there. In the contents, we've got books that aren't books, books made of flesh and blood, cryptic books, literary hoaxes, curious collections, works of the supernatural, religious oddities, curiosities of science, books of spectacular size, strange titles, etc., etc. The Madman's Library. And to go with the Madman's Library, we have the Madman's Gallery, which is also by Edward Brooke Hitching, and it's the strangest paintings, sculptures, and other curiosities from the history of art. Obscure and forgotten treasures sit alongside famous masterpieces with secret stories to tell. Here are doom paintings, screaming sculptures, magical manuscripts, impossible architecture, dog-headed saints, and the first portrait of a cannibal. Stolen art, outsider art, ghost art, revenge art, and art painted at the bottom of the sea take their place alongside scandalous art, forgeries and hoaxes, art of dreams and nightmares, and cryptic paintings yet to be decoded. Discover the remarkable Elizabethan portraits of men in flames, the mystery of the nude Mona Lisa, the gruesome ingredients of the lost pigment, and the Italian monk who levitated so often he's recognised as the patron saint of aeroplane passengers. From prehistoric cave art to portraits painted by artificial intelligence, the Madman's Gallery draws on a remarkable depth of research and variety of images to form a book that surprises at every turn and ultimately serves to celebrate the endless power and creativity of human imagination. Once again, beautiful illustrations throughout. Of course, though, given the title, you would expect some rather, gruesome and bizarre illustrations too. And the contents for this one include things like, well, there's quite a lot. Include things like colossal heads of the Olmec, doom paintings, the Ripley scroll, composite art of Archimboldo, kind Nice. And it's like a list of illustrations as well. The ghost heads of Franz Xavier Messerschmidt, Raoul Hausmann's The Art Critic, and all sorts of things. So, yeah, I think it's interesting. I haven't had a chance really to look much in this one. It's not that... I haven't had it for so long, so I think it'd be nice to get to eventually. And the last one for today is the last one from this collection, and it's The Devil's Atlas by Edward Brooke Hitching. So you can tell it's going to be cheerful. Whether it's the 13 heavens of the Aztecs, the Chinese Taoist netherworld of hungry ghosts, or the hell of the flaming rooster of Japanese Buddhist mythology, in which sinners are tormented by an enormous fire-breathing cockerel, the Devil's Atlas gathers together a wonderful variety of beliefs and representations of life after death. These afterworlds are illustrated with an unprecedented collection of images, ranging from the marvelous infernal cartography of the European Renaissance artists attempting to map the structured hell described by Dante and the decorative Islamic depictions of paradise, to the various efforts to map the Garden of Eden and the spiritual vision paintings of 19th century mediums. The Devil's Atlas accompanies beautiful images with a highly readable trove of surprising facts and narratives, from the more inventive torture methods awaiting sinners to colourful eccentric catalogues of demons, angels and assorted death deities. A traveller's guide to the worlds unseen, the Devil's Atlas is a fascinating study of the boundless capacity of human invention, a visual chronicle of man's hopes, fears and fantasies of what lies beyond. So again, replete with wonderful illustrations and notes and pictures and examples and all that kind of stuff. I guess it's the Archangel Michael there, giving people a taste of punishment. So yeah, and finish off with the little bit about the contents here. It's divided into different parts. Part 1 is hells and underworlds. Part 2, limbo, purgatory and other midworlds. And then Part 3, heavens, paradise and utopias. So yeah, there's like hell, the Norse underworld. There's biblical hell. There's Zoroastrian underworlds. Then, as I say, there's stuff on midworlds, purgatory and that kind of stuff. There's the Aru of ancient Egypt, the heavens of ancient India, Mesoamerican heavens, Valhalla, all that kind of stuff is displayed in here and talked about in here. I guess that's the varying degrees of hell there in the ground. So there we have it. That was this week's library tour. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll be back again if people want next week with some more books. So from Elvis and I, do take care and we shall see you all soon. Bye bye.